Hey everyone, Brendan from Goalorious, and today I'm super excited to be joined by Matthew from EVDC. Thanks for joining me, Matthew. How's it going?
Great, great. And you?
Good. You have a lovely background back there. Seems
It's just the highway, pretty much.
still lovely. Any bright light is perfect. So I talked about EVDC actually about a month or 2 months ago, and so it's great that you're able to join me today to talk about this project, give some great updates, and I've seen you guys made a lot of progress. So maybe you could give a quick overview on what has been happening, what this project is all about as well.
Basically, what has been happening is that right now we're days away from the launch. We are already in pre-order. You could already go and pre-order the app. It's free. So when it's launched, it will be automatically available on your phone. We decided to roll out the charging hardware earlier for obvious reasons that we might cover in this interview if Brent asks me the questions regarding the charging infrastructure and hardware. But yeah, so we did the migration for the new migration for BSC, awaiting the migration for Ethereum. We updated the website like twice. We had a new partner involved, not a like direct partner, more of a services partner. We integrated the wallets. Yeah, a lot of movement forward in the right direction, of course. We also started to we started the marketing. We did pretty much what we had to do overall, other than the Ethereum migration that's taking some time. But and coin market cap, that Jesus Christ, coin market cap is taking forever, man. They're just
Yeah,
not
I've
listing
heard
it.
that process takes a long time, but
They
hopefully that comes soon. Yeah.
they published something about our token that
Oh, awesome.
it's the first currency for charging electric vehicles, but we're still not listed there. So I don't know. I'm very
Yeah, I've heard
confusing.
some things where it takes a long time. I've heard that it's like it's random who they approve and they show like what this project, which is super popular, has ton of utility, and this other project is the one that gets listed. So I've heard a lot of random things. But when I covered your project, like yeah, 2 months ago now, I was like, wow, this utility is great, charging for EV vehicles, and like this is real utility in the crypto space, and I haven't seen anything like it before. So I was, even in the past 2 months, I haven't seen anything that's even tried to tap in the EV charging market. So I think it's been great, and I think that a lot of the progress that you've done, especially with the hardware, which I kind of want to jump into, you could actually go and buy that now off your website, and
Yeah.
essentially you could put it wherever you want to, even if you want to put it in your home. So maybe you could talk about that and how that partnership went, and what's the offering there.
In terms of charging infrastructure, right now anyone could pretty much just order a charger. It's available. You could buy it right now. It's gonna get shipped to your home or your business, wherever you're planning on installing it. And once you install it, it's gonna be available on EVDC, and it will appear as an EVDC charger on the Open Charge map, so people will be
Oh,
able to
cool.
charge on it, and whatever you make off of it, you get to keep. It's your charger, obviously, but we will have a little percentage on the transactions since you're using our interface, and I'll say our network, but you're part of the network since you bought the charger, right? And all that goes back into the token. So that's something that hasn't been done yet. And of course, as well, we're fulfilling the movement of moving forward towards electrification of all the vehicles. I mean, the range anxiety that people could have because there's not a charger uh, and at every corner. Now it gives us a chance at eliminating that range anxiety forever. Because if there's a charger in every neighborhood, then I
Right.
mean it's pretty easy to go everywhere and not be worried about charging your car or running out of battery.
Yeah.
So
I've definitely
that
had some friends come over and say, "Hey, I need in order to get back home, I got to go 10 miles this way to charge up so that I could go back home this way." And like that constant, like, struggle and fear of like, oh, am I gonna make it home? How am I to the closest charger? I think having this available and
I
having
mean,
the app where
if
you could find exactly where you need to go, I think is great.
if you have a friend coming to your house, right, and he's driving, let's say, 50 miles down to your house, and let's say you have a charger, even if it's not a level two, like you're not earning, if sorry, even if it's not a EVDC charger, just a regular level two charger,
Yeah.
where you're not earning anything. I mean, just the fact that he could come to your house and plug up his car. Let's say he stays for 2 hours, watch a football game or something, right?
Right.
He could leave your house with about the same mileage that he spent coming
Yeah.
charged up. Like
Exactly.
he could. I like to call it topping up your car. You top up your car a little bit, depending on how long he's staying. But it's definitely a benefit of having friends that have EV stations at home. And I mean, they're not going for it's not that expensive, so it's a possibility. And the government, most governments, they cover up to 50% of the installation cost. So it's an interesting option to explore. So
Yeah, and I think like it makes a ton of sense. I don't live that close to any other charging station and or gas station, so definitely a perk having that flexibility to have something like that at my house. And I do think, like I said, I know that the app is like you go pre-register for it, and I think like the ease of use of it looks really good. I said this 2 months ago, and I think you guys made a bunch of improvements, even make it look even better. But I think it's just like a super user-friendly interface that makes it easy to keep track of everything going on. So yeah, I
there's yeah, can I sorry,
oh,
sorry,
of
Brent.
course, yeah,
There's no doubt. uh I'd like everyone to look at it this way, okay? From 5 to 10 years, where everyone will have an electric car, or not everyone, most people, right? They will have to install a charger at their house or at their condo or wherever, because that's the most convenient way. Every morning you wake up, you have a full charge, you go, you run your errands, you go to work, whatever, right? Everybody will pay to install a charging station. Now, where it gets interesting is that if you buy a charger for around $800 to get it installed, uh, it's gonna run you about 1,500. Okay. Now our charger is 1,500 without installation. Now we can help you get the incentives, obviously, but the good news is with our charger you can make money because you can rent it out while you're not using. Let's say while you're at work, someone can come and plug their car in your charger. I mean, the cables that come with the charger are like around 12 to 15 feet long. So they don't have to be next to your garages, or they could be a little bit more towards the street or even on the street, and you just figure out a way to get the charger to plug in the car. And that would be a tremendous move forward because people would be able to earn income with their own charger. So it could pay your car, it could pay your electricity bill, could pay a lot of bills if they're constantly used, obviously, and gives people the freedom of earning money without doing anything because it's sitting there. Someone wants to use it, he comes, he beeps on the reader, he plugs his car, and that's it.
yeah. My
So
my community and myself are all about passive income. So any way that you can, especially when you're not at home, someone can use something like this. And like what you said, um, I think majority of people as well within 5 years will have an electric car and will need some sort of way to charge. And this is kind of putting the power to the people where they're the ones who could potentially making money on this for essentially doing nothing. You're buying the equipment now, which doesn't cost that much, but in the future, when there's more demand for this, it could potentially be more and more expensive. So better to get in early. Even me, I'm thinking selfishly for myself. I have solar panel roofs and things like that. It's like, oh, my monthly bill isn't that much. So if there's a way that I could be on the positive side of that, I think I could just use that to my benefit as well. So um, yeah, I think
that's
it's
cool.
it's a clever idea. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how the token itself works with the app and kind of like this whole ecosystem. I think would be helpful.
All right. I just wanted to say something for the charger before we move forward. Um, Eventually, my goal is not to sell a charger that's ready to make money out of for 1,500. I'm trying to bring it down to 700, $500 per charger, where it's almost
Nice.
cheaper than a regular charger, and that's the goal, so that everyone can afford. I mean, if you don't need to make money with your charger and you don't really care, I mean, if you have the options to buy a charger for a price, right, and buy that doesn't earn you anything, you can't really put on the platform and make money out of it. And then you had a chance to buy another charger for the same price, but you could get money out of it. I mean, everyone will pick that one just in case. I mean, imagine you go on vacation, you could put up your charger available, and people could use it. And that's why a lot of people are switching for electric cars, because now you have the option. You either buy an electric car, you charge at home, you save on gas, and it's the same price as a Mercedes or a BMW, a regular,
Yeah.
C
Right.
class or B class or whatever. It's 45 grand. It's the same thing, but you have so much more with the electric car. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to create that effect here.
Yeah, I mean, like if the cost of buying this and getting your money back when you said like yeah, like under $1,000 should be pretty quick, right? Like I could if I put one on one of my street today, I'll probably be the most popular person on my street because there's probably like 10 EV cars on my street anyways. Like I can make that money probably just alone from the people on my street, just from like word of mouth, and then once they actually have the app in their hands, even more and more people will see that. So like yeah, makes sense, especially in this world of like Ubers and like Lyfts and things like that. It must be a pain for them to be like, oh, okay, I've done 2 rides. Up, I gotta go charge. Up, I gotta get gas. But if they have an EV car, they're like, oh, I could just stop, drop someone off, use their charging station, and then move on with my
I
life.
mean,
Like I think
also
that's
for
like the
those
key.
that are interested in, I mean, in making like more serious money, there's always the purchasing of a supercharger. Even if you put it in front of your house, you're gonna be the most popular person in the not in the neighborhood,
In
in
the
the
city, in
probably
the city,
probably in the
yeah, yeah,
area,
yeah.
because people that have EVs look for superchargers because you could charge your car in
Uh,
30-40 minutes, not even, right? So, but these are much more expensive. They start at like 50, 60,000 and can go up to 150, 200,000. But you earn $20 per session, sometimes more, depending on how long the person stays on it. And then you could charge late fees if the person doesn't unplug immediately after charging. Like it's like they're staying longer than they're supposed to stay, so you charge them fees per minute, and it's about 25 to 35 cents a minute to charge your car at a supercharger.
that's
So
nice.
that's a much more interesting option for people. And some people that have the money or have the funds or even equity on their mortgage, they could like take a little bit more from their mortgage and invest it on the supercharger and then earn and then pay off their, you know.
Yeah, I was thinking of it as because I like live on a cul-de-sac and it's like, oh, like there's 4 houses here, like, oh, and all of them have EV cars. It's like, oh, everyone kind of chips in for the supercharger because that would like be life changing, make their life a lot easier. And then it's like, oh, we're all charging our cars, and then we're all splitting our like. There's a lot of ways. Like this opens up a lot of things, opportunities, and also ways to make money. So I kind of got when I saw the supercharger on your website, it kind of got my brain thinking from a business perspective, like yeah, you have to pay the fee now, but in the next several years, like think about how much money that can make you. And
But
then
but
like also
the
like the
cool thing
convenience
is
of
that
it.
you shouldn't use a supercharger to charge your car every day. I mean, most of the people will charge at home on a regular level 2 or level 1
Yeah.
charger, because otherwise it can harm your battery every day charging your EV, and it's going to be charging in 40 minutes. I mean, why would you want to charge your car in 40 minutes if it's going to be sitting for the next 10 hours?
Yeah.
You know? So you gotta
Yeah.
have it. People come and charge on your supercharger. You can even offer them coffee or I don't know,
Yeah, that's what
whatever
I was thinking. Like you
drinks.
could have like I would think like businesses, especially like small businesses, exactly like coffee places, would be like yeah, because I think superchargers now are in like random parking lots, etc.
Yeah,
Having
pretty
them
much. Yeah,
next to like, oh, here's a coffee store, or maybe you go into a partnership with like a coffee store and be like, hey, they're sitting here for 30 minutes to an hour anyways. Why don't they charge along the way? So definitely a lot of opportunities, and it's great. And like exactly
that's
what you said,
correct.
why if you're comparing this supercharger to this supercharger, when this one has built off, ways to get tokens, and it's part of this whole entire ecosystem, I think is definitely a no-brainer to go with that one. So, yeah.
Pretty much in some shape, way, or form. Now we've covered the charging hardware subject. Now let's cover the other question you had before I cut you off. Uh, sorry
It's
that
okay.
I didn't mean to be impolite, but yeah. So the second token where it stands in regards of the app is that, first of all, people can exchange their tokens to charge their cars. So let's say if you have token, you can exchange them to charge your car. But the cool thing is it won't be now, like not won't be now. I mean, it won't be popular now. It'll be popular in probably 5 years when crypto becomes
Widely
much
adopted.
more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because now the convenient way, we're not gonna lie to ourselves. It's paying with your credit card or your debit card using Apple Pay or whatever, right? The fast way. But what's cool about it is that whatever goes through fiat transaction or Apple Pay or Google Pay, whatever we earn, there's a good percentage of it that goes back into the token. So what does that do? The goal is to create a token that's very solid, uh, so people can exchange it, that it has a certain value, not just I mean, not very speculative, where people can, that it becomes tangible, where you could exchange it to pay your electricity bill. I mean, what is a currency at the end of the day? It's something that people are willing to accept as form of payment, right, from another person or another party. And I think it's attainable, to be honest, because uh, look at all the stations we have, that we have on our app. Sorry, they're not ours, right? But look at all the stations we have, and the whole coverage we have pretty much worldwide. Okay, and as long as we get even minimal market share, a minimal amount of market share from that industry, like let's say 1% of EV owners worldwide downloads the app and starts using it, we're off to the races, because that will boost our liquidity, that will boost our token, that will pretty much have the financial backing to keep growing and roll out our own network. Now, we will still roll out our own network. It's just that instead of going through VC or personal funds invested by me, it could be all done by the token. So there won't be any more parties involved. It will be self-sustainable. It will be basically the token for electricity.
Yeah, and it gives you more flexibility to do other things. And like
Yeah,
I
I
said,
mean,
when I
it's
talked about this project like a month or two ago, like when I think about what am I going to use like cryptocurrency for in the real world, first it would be like, like food or something like that. Next would be like gas and transportation. Like that seems like the most obvious thing to be using for. And that's why I was like, oh, this is a great idea, because that's a utility that everyone is going to need, right? And so I thought it was, like a smart play. And it's great to see that you guys have made a ton of progress. Like you
definitely,
said.
yeah. I mean, we're working. We're working hard. We're not just flipping our thumbs. But in terms of that, I think that the utility of the app and the app itself is bigger than the currency currently, because the app has so much potential. The token also has a lot of potential, obviously, but the utility is bigger than the token, because the token, once people start exchanging it really,
Right, right.
and there's a big volume in transactions, then I would say there's a lot of people using it. It's the token itself has become bigger than the app in some shape, way, or form.
Yeah.
But until then, people will have to adopt it.
And
And
I think
also
they
the
will, because it
yeah.
makes their lives easier, right? Like you're solving the problems of, oh, we're actually solving problems that make life easier. Like I said, when I talk about a lot of other projects, it's like they're trying to,
Also,
make something
for,
fun, things like, but this is just solving a problem of like, hey, how do I get from point A to point B? Like this is how you do it, right? So
yeah, but also little fun fact. We will allow people to get paid in tokens if they want to. Okay.
mhm.
Now those tokens are swappable for BNB or Ethereum.
Ethereum.
So
Yeah.
so if
Interesting.
someone likes to gather cryptocurrency and just forget about it, if you're gonna make an investment in cryptocurrency, I mean, if you invest in a charger, okay, you invest it once and then you
Yeah.
earn all the way until your charger breaks, right? But they're pretty reliable. But like if you're gonna hold a position and just forget about it, right?
Yeah.
You'll earn in crypto, and it will just add up. And maybe in because of the speculation that 1,500, let's say, brought you, I don't know, let's say $5,000 in a year, but that $5,000 ends up becoming $80,000. So
Yeah, I mean, I've been investing a lot in just like EV stocks in general, just because I believe in the future of EV. And so when I'm explaining different projects in the crypto space to people, I'm like, okay, this is a meme coin. This gives you passive rewards in this random token. But this one actually, like, people understand it because I'm like, oh, it's potentially currency to charge your vehicle. Everyone has EV vehicles. It has an app. It has chargers. Like, it's easy for them to understand because it's solving a problem versus like, okay, this is just gonna gain utility out of nowhere. But no, this project actually it makes sense, right? So
It's pretty much like investing in the automobile before the automobile.
exactly,
It,
you're like the infrastructure and things like that, and
like
it's
it's
good you're kind of from both
obvious.
angles. Yeah. So
It's obvious that that's what's gonna happen. I mean, you don't have to think about it 10 times. The cars are becoming electric. I know they tried hydrogen cells, hybrids, but at some like your phone, it's a rechargeable battery. You don't have to put some kind of liquid that
nice.
burns inside.
It says good. Yeah. You don't need it's all this doing that is probably only make it what 1-2% better, but like having an EV vehicle is like it's
Think. I'd like
plenty.
to.
Yeah.
I'd like to compare it to homes heating on gas or wood, and then flipping to heating to electricity. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you see, there's a sort of a resource getting burned in order to warm up the home right before, and now the electricity is reusable. It's
Yeah.
and that's where
Yeah,
I
that
see
makes
it.
a lot of sense. Like, yeah,
It's
what
a
you're
no
make
brainer.
like why wouldn't people and you said like majority of people, I think hopefully everyone in 5 years, I think they'll have to be, and I think more and more things are pushing, whether it's laws within states and things like that, are pushing people towards EV vehicles. Like yeah, like if you buy cars that are under like 20 miles per gallon right now, you're gonna be taxed a ton. So like it makes sense, especially for automakers, etc., to have some sort of EV vehicle in their lineup. So, and I think what you said perfectly earlier is like you don't need to capture 100% of the charging market. Even if you have a piece of that pie is going to be so gigantic, and that just going to propel like this project. Just
Yeah,
getting
we
a
have we
small
have
piece.
very very high chances of succeeding, especially with our work ethic. And also, before I forget, I wanted to say something. Um, it's gonna come back. I'll think. I'll remember it. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I just thought of it. The government here, where I'm from, they're giving incentives. Okay, they've been giving
Mm,
incentives for the last 6 years.
yeah.
Now, next year they're stopping the incentives.
Okay.
So that means that people start to adapt. They're doing it so that people move forward to a new
Yeah. Makes sense.
revolutionary way of transport, and now they're stopping it. So that means a lot of people are moving like
Yeah.
towards that because they have a cap.
When people are buying cars, the first thing that pops in their head is Tesla, right? Like they go, should I buy Tesla? Okay, if not, then they're thinking about something else. I think now it's just part of like the normal thinking where people are just like, oh, should I buy Tesla? And half of the time, maybe more than that, people end up buying a Tesla, which is good. Like it's ingrained in us that like all the benefits is there. They see Teslas everywhere. Then it's like, okay, if they're not buying Tesla, they're probably buying another EV vehicle. There's a small percentage that's probably buying something else. But
A lot. Now it's not like, hey, should I buy a GMC or a BMW? It's should I buy this EV or that EV? The
right, yeah.
gasoline question is becoming
Oh,
out of.
I hate driving to the gas. That's just another. I think now we're in an age of like time is so important, and you think about the time you're wasting every single week, depending on how much you get gas, of sitting there at the gas station getting gas, and I guess also the benefit.
The thing I like about electric vehicles is that you have the choice. You're
Mhm.
independent pretty much, because before it was, hey, what's the price of the gas? Oh, now gas is
Right,
cheap. Okay,
yeah,
I gotta run to the
exactly.
gas station. Then there's like a lineup of you're gonna wait an
Yeah,
hour
like
so you could
mindful
save ten
people,
cents.
exactly. I just don't like seeing the people, like going there and then having to like be around people and then you just have to wait, finding a spot. Sometimes you have to go inside, things like that. Like the comfort of your home and is just nothing can beat that, and that alone should be enough for people to
Yeah,
be pushed
definitely,
towards EV. So,
and that's
uh,
that's what will happen. So yeah, so let's that's for that, I guess.
yeah. So, like I said, lots of great things. One thing I wanted to mention, you mentioned a couple times, is I like the fact that Binance Smart Chain started, and then obviously I think you guys can go on Ethereum relatively soon. But I think it's awesome that you're having that I think choice is a good word, and that flexibility to do so I think is really smart. So yeah. Is there anything I always like to ask these in my interviews? Again, nothing. You don't have to say anything. I'm not trying to get spoilers out of you, but is there anything exciting that in the roadmap that's upcoming? I know you launched the new website, which is awesome. I'll put the link in the description. But is there anything coming in the near future that you're super excited about? That that you want to tell my community and audience, kind of give them a heads up.
Um, well, I said earlier about the supercharging. We're gonna have our own supercharging network, a little bit like Tesla's network, but us will accept every car, not just Tesla's, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
I
guess I
think
didn't
that's
think
I
about
think that's
that. Yeah, there's
exciting.
other EV cars out there, and yeah, there's no superchargers for them. Yeah,
I think that
that's huge.
that's an exciting thing. No, there is superchargers for them. It's just that a lot of them are not the same kilowatt hours, and
Okay.
I want to put at least 150 kilowatt hours per supercharger. That will give you the same charging time of a Tesla, pretty much, which is one of the fastest. Everybody likes Teslas because you can go to any supercharger, just
Yeah.
pop it right in, and that's it. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish. That's the biggest challenge I have currently
Mm.
over the token, over the app, over everything. My biggest challenge is the supercharging network because you're dealing with infrastructure, you're dealing with zones where you're not
Right.
allowed, where you're allowed. You need permits, you need uh, qualified electricians, and most electricians can install level 2. You need to know what you're doing if you're installing a supercharger. There's a lot of power in
Of
that
course.
charger, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and also the liability that comes with it. I mean, if a car comes on it and I don't know, there's a problem or whatever, and then the car catches fire, who's to blame? And there's a lot of
Yeah. Yeah.
legal
Yeah. It makes sense.
involved. But that's the goal. If we get there, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean,
Massive
it's
potential. Yeah.
with the amount of earnings we're going to be making going back into the token. Look, I'm not gonna say it like this because I don't like to promise the moon,
Hmm.
but I'd like to say that pretty much everyone that has over 30 million tokens right now is very likely to be a millionaire if we get to that stage, because it's not if it's not sorry, if it's when, because how fast we're rolling out. I calculated that we only need 72 superchargers in order to bring the price around 100 volts at least. So yeah,
No. Yeah. I mean, like
that
I
and
said.
that's a minimum. It will be more. That's just a ballpark. I'm just
Yeah. I
eyeballing
mean,
it, but
it's like a no-brainer in terms of like the need for this. Like I saw on your guys' Twitter
because
account that.
imagine every time someone charges on a supercharger, every hour there's about a $16 transaction. Okay. Now, these are our superchargers. So we
Mhm.
don't owe nothing to no one other than just repaying the infrastructure. So let's say we have a 60 to 40 payment payment plan with ourself. Okay. Let's say we're paying back 40% on if each transaction goes back into paying back the charger, and 60% goes into the token. So that would be around $10 per transaction per hour per charger that goes into the token. So per hour, you're looking at 720 dollars per hour in the charger.
Wow. That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, yeah, and even that's supercharged. I was looking at your Twitter. I was gonna say, I was looking at your Twitter, and I think this is for level 2 chargers, but it said there's a real estate groups here in Taka. Again, I'm not trying to get information from you.
Yeah,
This is on
these
your
are
Twitter.
these are level 2. Yeah, these are level 2.
Yes,
Now the
but it was like
problem.
real estate group interested in 354 level 2 charging use, and um, I think that's just like I was talking about this earlier. Just the potential of it from a business standpoint is like there's probably lots of businesses out there, especially real estate groups, that are looking to work with projects like yourself to get them charging in whatever they're doing, right? And so like I think that's like a no-brainer. Like people should be like clamoring to be like, oh, this sounds great to have in my community or great to have near my business. So it's
If
great
you,
that you're
if, if
focusing
you
on this
look at it,
partnership.
if you look at it in Look, the deal is, I'm not afraid to talk about it. They have 66 buildings, and at first they wanted three chargers per building, but then I ended up sweetening up the deal and made it for five. Okay, now I don't make money on the two extra chargers.
Ah,
I'm
I
selling
see.
them at cost, but I'm rolling out more locations. So for me, it's priority, right? Market share, as I told you,
Yeah,
and
and I think once someone sees that, oh, they see this, they use it, they're like, oh, this is great, this is easy. More and more people are just gonna want it, right? So it's gonna be like, yeah, it's gonna spread quickly.
it's like saying you had a currency for gas. Okay, I'm not gonna say that we own the whole market. We don't own the whole market, but like, I mean, imagine we did. Okay, and every time someone would pump $100 in their vehicle or $50 in their vehicle, 10% will go back into that currency.
Mm,
It doesn't matter how many people are invested in it, as long as there's constant volume making the token or the
right, right.
liquidity grow. Because it's very easy to create a hype around something, right? It's
Sure.
very
Yeah, yeah.
difficult to create the product that you're promising to deliver. A lot of people could have promised to create an EV currency, but not everyone could have delivered the way we did in such a short period of time. And that, I think, is something great. And again, I owe it to my team. We're working super hard. And so that currency, that gas currency that I was talking about, would be growing every day because of that
Right.
little tax that goes back into it. So I mean, it's no brainer. As I said, it's just making sure that everything works fine. And other than that, I think most people invested in it have zero to no risk. I think most of the risk is owned by me, by my team, because we're the ones that are putting time, effort, money in it more than everyone else. I mean, investing in a product and waiting for it to flourish is, you have to be patient. But in terms of risk, where we're sitting out right now, we're not floor price, but I mean, we made sure that for the past 2 months we don't pump the token, so that when we launch the app, a lot of people didn't understand this, but I did in some way that it's a little complex to explain. But I decided not to make the price grow tremendously, so that when I launch the app, and the utility kicks in, uh, I don't have people dropping or selling or whatever where the price will just crash. I'll have a steady growth where even if someone would sell, I wouldn't be affected that much, because the app is sort of a holder, right? It's starting
Yeah, yeah.
same as everyone else. And the biggest purchaser of token would be the app, because it's the app that's backing the token, that's backing the liquidity. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's the biggest whale. Okay, the app will always be the biggest whale because it will have billions of tokens as a reserve, but they're obviously locked. But so it's trustworthy. People don't have the feeling that they could get ripped off. And the crypto side of the token has been done to revolutionize an industry. It hasn't been done to earn something out of it. You know, we created it so that we could have something gain value over time. So we could say, hey, we created that, and this is what we did, and hey, nobody can destroy us because we're decentralized. You know?
Right. And it's good for the investors. It's like, like that, like you see these other companies building, if there's other companies building like chargers or whatever, whatnot. Um, it's that this is actually power giving people a chance to potentially earn and make good, returns on their investment just by talking about the project, things like that, which I think is great. Like even just as something as simple as that, I think makes this project interesting. And when I talked about it a month or two ago, it was like, okay, this is what this project is going to be about, and you guys have done a lot of partnerships. You've built out all these great things and made, yeah. So like I said, I was excited about this project back then, and I'm still excited about it now. I think you guys, have done a lot of great things, and I think it makes sense where you're focusing on getting this out there, building this up, and then releasing the app when it's ready. So cool.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
um, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I'm excited to learn more what's coming in the future. Is there anything last words you wanted to mention to my community? The action items is obviously keep track of this project. Obviously, learn more if they want to buy one of these level 2 chargers. To check down the website, I'll put a link in the description on that. But if there's anything else you wanted to mention before we sign off, please do so.
Yeah. One thing actually, if you're thinking of investing in the token and you have the chance to buy a charger instead, I would have told you to buy the charger and then reinvest what you're earning from the charger,
Ah,
because you're going to be earning. Look, for us, for you to become a holder or to become a charging, an owner of a charging hardware, um, we have no advantages for you to become a holder, since yeah, it's great, it's giving the token more value if more holders are going in. But I mean, in terms of the mission, I think that by owning a charger and adding it to the network, you're helping us much more than just by investing in a token.
yep.
And you're helping yourself as well. I mean, if you're going to invest, if you're looking short term, I mean, I would say invest in the token itself. But if you're looking for something long term, I would recommend buying a charger, because they come pre-configured out of the box with our software and everything in it, and it will allow you to earn passive income on the transaction. If you want to buy more than one charger, you can always email us at hold@evdc.network, and we could make you a better deal, a wholesale deal or something like that. So yeah,
Cool.
that was my my little message for everyone.
No, that's good, and that's smart, right? Because like, if anyone out there is thinking about or has an EV vehicle now and doesn't have a charger, why not get this one? If
Here,
someone is thinking about getting an EV vehicle in the next couple of years, next couple of months, why not get this one? Like, especially if you're interested in crypto, you believe in this project, you believe in the token, like it's kind of like best of both worlds. So that's excellent advice, and I appreciate it. But
thank you, appreciate it.
I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy. I know a lot of things going on. I'm excited to update my community on things coming in the upcoming weeks, upcoming months with this project. I only assume good things, but thanks, Matthew. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brent, for having me. And whenever you want, man, I'm available.
Cool.
Take care, guys. Ciao.
Thank
Bye.
you.